In 1934, the Blackstone Hotel in Omaha, Nebraska listed a sandwich on its main dining room menu called a Reuben, and it was listed for 40 cents. Is this the earliest mention of the Reuben sandwich? Hello, and welcome to the Iron Spoon Kitchen, where today the Iron Spoon is on top of a bunch of rye bread, which, as I had said, we're going to be making a Reuben sandwich today. And the Reuben sandwich has a fantastic history and a pretty good debate about where did it originate. And we're going to go through that today a little bit later. But we're going to have all the key components here. We have our corned beef, we have our Swiss cheese, rye bread, some pickles and radishes for garnish, and of course we can't leave out the sauerkraut. And in this one we have Thousand Island dressing. Now, in some recipes it says that it is a Russian dressing or a Thousand Island dressing. So I went with the Thousand Island, and we're going to make that right now. So come on over a little bit closer and you can see me mixing it all up. Making Thousand Island dressing is pretty simple. We have a half cup of mayonnaise, we have a half cup of sweet relish, pickle relish, and a quarter cup of ketchup, and then a pinch of pepper and a pinch of salt. So let's start mixing all this together. And then we're actually going to mix this with the sauerkraut. So let me get that, and we'll keep going. I've got 2 ounces of sauerkraut here. It's been drained, and that's like 2 big tablespoons of sauerkraut there. And then to that, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of the Thousand Island dressing. Then we're going to mix that together. Now, while I'm mixing this together and getting things pulled together, let me tell you the rest of the story about the Reuben sandwich. Every great sandwich needs an origin story, and the Reuben, corned beef, Swiss cheese, sauerkraut, Thousand Island or Russian dressing, hot pressed on rye, has a bit of a convoluted and contested origin story in American food history. This story comes from writer Elizabeth Weil, who in 2016 wrote a piece for Saveur Magazine about her own grandfather's claim to the sandwich, and the food historian who spent months trying to prove her wrong. 2 cities, 2 men named Reuben, and 1 very stubborn historian who refused to let it go. Let's start with the version of the story a lot of Reuben lovers have heard, the Omaha version. It's the story that food writer Elizabeth Weil grew up with, and the one she finally decided to put in print. In the 1920s, Weil's great-grandfather ran a chain of hotels strung along the railroad in the Midwest. Omaha was a major hub for the railroads at that time. He sent one of his sons, Bernard Schimmel, to hotel school in Lausanne, Switzerland, to learn to be a chef and the elegant ways of fine dining. Bernard returned home after distinguishing himself at the school and ended up running the kitchen at the Blackstone Hotel in Omaha. Bernard Schimmel was Elizabeth Weil's grandfather. Every week, a group of local businessmen gathered at the Blackstone to play poker. They called themselves the Committee, and like any good poker game, eventually everybody got hungry. Sorry, I just had to put that picture in. Cassius Marcellus Coolidge painted this famous Dogs Playing Poker series in 1903. It was for a cigar company. Okay, now back to the real story. So they called down to the kitchen, and for one of the players, a well-known grocery store owner named Reuben Kulikovsky, Bernard Schimmel built something new. Corned beef, Swiss cheese, sauerkraut, and Russian dressing, pressed hot between slices of rye. Reuben loved it. So did everyone else at the table. It went on the hotel menu. and in 1956, a waitress entered it into the National Restaurant Association's National Sandwich Idea Contest. It won! That's the story Elizabeth Weil grew up with, passed down through her family for generations, from the grandfather who, as far as they were concerned, invented the sandwich in his own hotel kitchen. When Elizabeth Weil's version of the story ran in the New York Times Magazine, it didn't take long for the emails to start. First came the Kulikovsky family, Reuben's own descendants, with a very different version. In their telling, Bernard Schimmel didn't invent anything. He just sent up a deli platter. Reuben Kulikovsky, they say, built the sandwich himself right there at the poker table. But there's a practical objection worth mentioning. The Reuben is a pressed sandwich. Did a poker room in the 1920s really have a sandwich press sitting around, or even a hot plate? Something to think about. But the real fight didn't come from Omaha at all. It came from New York, specifically from a food historian named Andrew Smith, the author of more than 20 books on food history. He fired off a letter to the New York Times that essentially said, "Wrong city, wrong family, wrong story." His theory, the Reuben wasn't invented at a Nebraska poker game. It was invented in New York City at a delicatessen run by a man named Arnold Reuben. Reuben's restaurant on East 58th Street was a magnet for celebrities heading home after the theater. According to the historian, sometime around 1914, Arnold Reuben created a sandwich for one of Charlie Chaplin's leading ladies. A combination of ham, cheese, turkey, coleslaw, and dressing, named the Annette Seelos Special. Andrew Smith also pointed to a 1941 professional cookbook written by a New York author that listed a sandwich made of rye bread, Swiss cheese, corned beef, sauerkraut, and dressing, much closer to the Reuben we know today. Smith's conclusion? Case closed. New York invention. Time to retire the Nebraska legend. What followed was, frankly, one of the more delightful academic feuds in food writing. Andrew Smith doubled down. He called himself a pedantic culinary historian and issued a challenge to Elizabeth Weil. Produce a single menu dated before 1941 that lists a Reuben sandwich by name with its actual ingredients. Then I will be satisfied. Without it, he stated, New York wins by default. So the hunt began, led mainly by Weil's husband, Dan, who took the challenge personally. Calls to family members in Omaha, calls to a hotel in Lincoln, Nebraska, one of the last surviving properties from the original hotel chain, a tip from a janitor about a local historical collector. Basements and closets were entirely searched. But nothing turned up. Not yet. Meanwhile, Smith wasn't finished. He came back with another candidate, a sandwich on the Reuben's restaurant menu made of corned beef, Swiss cheese, mustard, and coleslaw on toasted rye, named after actor Jay Flippin. Coleslaw instead of sauerkraut, mustard instead of Russian dressing, named after a completely different person? If that's a Reuben, then a lot of sandwiches could be called Reubens. Proving who owns a sandwich recipe is nearly impossible. Combine a few ingredients that already exist, give it a name, and is that an invention? Or just a good idea at the right place at the right time? There's something worth focusing on here, and it's a point Elizabeth Weil made herself. The Reuben feels like it should belong to New York. It's big, it's loud, it's got great personality. But by most accounts, it's actually a Midwestern creation. A Jewish-style sandwich that isn't kosher, built by the assimilated children of Eastern European immigrants in the golden age of American railroad hotels. Omaha in the 1920s was not a backwater. It was a railroad town on the size of any other big city. It had grand hotels, French-trained chefs, and white-glove dining rooms. The world faded over the following decades, and somewhere along the way, the idea took hold that nothing culturally significant could possibly come out of Nebraska. And then, after weeks of digging, thanks to Elizabeth's husband Dan, there was a breakthrough. The Nebraska State Historical Society unearthed a menu from the Blackstone Hotel's coffee shop dated 1937, listing a Reuben sandwich for 35 cents, 50 cents with chicken added. Then the Douglas County Historical Society went one better, and here it is, a menu from the Blackstone's main dining room dated 1934, listing a Reuben for 40 cents. That's a full 7 years before the 1941 New York cookbook Andrew Smith had been citing exclusively. At this point, even Smith folded. He conceded in writing to Weil that these were the earliest documented references to a sandwich specifically called a Reuben, and that they supported her grandfather Bernard Schimmel's claim to naming the sandwich. Who really invented the Reuben? Depending on who you ask, it's Bernard Schimmel, a hotel chef in Omaha, or Reuben Kulikowski, the poker player himself, or Arnold Reuben, a deli owner in New York, or some combination of assimilated Eastern European Americans doing what people have always done with food, taking what's on hand and turning it into something worth naming. What we do know, thanks to 2 dusty menus pulled out of 2 different Nebraska historical societies, and because one writer refused to let a food historian rewrite her family's history, is that the earliest paper trail points to 1934 Omaha, Nebraska, about as Midwest as you can get. Well, I thought that was fascinating, that history there. And so we're going to be making the Bernard Schimmel Reuben sandwich. As you can see, I have all the ingredients here. Here's my Thousand Island mixed with the sauerkraut, as he did it. And here is his recipe from the book, Jocelyn Presents Bernard Schimmel's Masterpieces. And Bernard Schimmel wasn't just a cook. He was trained, as I said in the narration there, to be a European chef. So he knew all the sorts of things. He wasn't just going to cooking school or something like that to learn how to fry hamburgers. So we're going to follow that recipe here. And let's get going. I'm just going to use 2 pieces of bread here for now. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to spread the outside of each slice with a little butter. Where's my butter?
Pardon this interruption. We want to remind you to like and subscribe. It makes a difference. We now return you to your regularly scheduled program.
Now, let's move over to the frying pan. Hey, time to put the bread in to toast it, and we're going to put the unbuttered side up. So, which of course that makes sense. This will get a little toasted there. And we're going to let that crisp up for a bit. We're going to add our Swiss cheese. And the recipe calls for 4 slices of Swiss cheese. And then on top of the Swiss cheese, we will place our corned beef. And corned, that was a type of salt that was used. There's no corn here. For the when they would put it in the brine, they would use a special type of salt. And let's see. Oh, and then of course our sauerkraut. And we'll put that on top of the corned beef here. I'm ready to put this together here. Ooh, I can tell that cheese is already getting melted. So let's get that in there. And this is where the pressing comes in. I'm going to press it down there. We're going to let that keep getting hot. And some may say this is not the most salubrious of meals, but Hey, we know all the ingredients. Everything's right there in front of us. While we're letting that get nice and melted and hot, we can see the cheese going there. Bernard Schimmel was very big on doing garnishes. So in the recipe he says to add a pickle and a rose garnish. So let's see if we can do that. Look pretty simple. Maybe not the best, but hey, we tried it. Let's see, I think we add another layer on this one. There you go. A quasi rose radish. Okay, we've got that cheese looking nice and melted, so I'm going to take it out. Turn off the heat. And let's see what this looks like. See if we've done it justice. Let's see. Oh, I think so. Look at that. That cheese is all melted in there. Oh, yes. Well, there it is. More radishes than a person deserves. Let's give it a big taste. Hey, this is looking delicious. Should have taken a smaller bite, but that is delicious. The Schimmel Reuben is fantastic. And that Thousand Island tastes really good in there. And the sauerkraut, if you're not a fan of sauerkraut, it just mixes in with everything. So it's not as tart. The Thousand Island balances it out because of all that sweet relish that went into it. Well, this has been a really interesting sandwich, the Reuben Sandwich. And I hope that you found it very interesting. And if you've never had one before, this is one worth making at home. And like I said, it's not hard to make. The hardest part is probably getting the corned beef so you get a good corned beef. And this is from a local deli at my grocery store. And I thought it tasted delicious. And then you can always make your own little radishes. I've never done that before, and they're not perfect, but hey, we're learning with this episode. Well, thank you for joining me today in the Iron Spoon Kitchen for the Reuben Sandwich.